This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, April 28th, 2006, and this is episode number 93 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org. Our posse today includes my main man, Len Testa of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
What's up, Matt? How's it going?
Outstanding. And representing white men everywhere, Mike Copa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
I'm not sponging for rum. It be gold I'm after.
And packing heat as usual is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Representing New York, yo.
I tried to keep it subtle, but
Lord.
and our listener of the month for April is here, Darren Neely. Welcome, Darren.
Hello, everyone.
Just a reminder that this Sunday, April 30th, we'll be having our first live show. It's going to be at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Mouse World Radio. For all the details, you can go visit our website at www.wdwtoday.com. We're really excited about this because we're going to have a phone number for everyone to call in and talk to us and listen to us. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, so be sure to tune in. Details on our website. And let's get right into the show.
Yay.
On today's show, we've brought Darren on to talk to us, and Darren won the Listener of the Month contest for April because of he designed the winning logo that is now the WDW Today logo, and our listeners voted on a number of them. So congratulations, Darren.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, it was
It's
a
an
great.
honor to win.
It was an honor to be nominated. It was even better to win.
Did you receive the check yet, Darren?
I did, but it did not clear the mail.
It didn't clear.
You have the
You know-
decency to be quiet about that.
I was going
one
to
of
wait.
those-
Yeah, I was going to wait till after the show. But
The check
It's one of
bounced.
those Mickey Mouse checks, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Darren, I thought I clearly told you that I marked the check for 2029 to be checked, to be deposited.
It was post dated for 10 years from now. I actually got the logo on a T-shirt. I was telling the guys before the show, and I got one of the T-shirts on Tuesday, and it came out great. And it just looks. I was joking. It looks professional, so it was sort of unexpected on the something from our show.
Well,
But it looks really good.
Well, we had a logo contest about a month ago. For those maybe our new listeners aren't familiar with that, and the contest was to come up with a new logo for the site. The one that I did when we first started this podcast stinks, and so
don't say that.
yeah, it was terrible.
No. There's nothing wrong with that.
And so we asked for submissions from our users, and I can safely say
Our
that
users. Are you like what are we pushing, Matt? Go ahead. Oh.
there's our narcotic.
I'm gonna drink
reference
some
for the
water
show.
here. Okay, go ahead.
But I was going to say that I could safely say that we were really amazed by the designs that came in, and with the exception of one or two interesting entries that we got, most of them I think we could have easily used, but certainly was top notch and had a final push and won. And Darren, your logo actually wasn't. Your logo wasn't leading the entire way. We narrowed it down to 4, and there were I think yours was logo 1, Darren, as I recall at the time, and logo 3 was like was beating you for a while, and then someone else's logo snuck in, and then finally you got like a push. I guess you spread the link around to your in-laws or something like that.
The minions.
and I've been married many times.
So I mean, did you? First, I want to know what inspired you to come up with the logo design that you came up with.
Well, I was thinking about what Walt Disney World Today. What's the visual element of that? And unless you can allude to the whole Walt Disney World complex, it's hard to be specific, and allude to just one park or just
Right.
one element. And then there's the whole factor of you don't want to look too much like Mickey, or somebody will come knocking or mailing or something.
Yep.
And
That's the truth.
so I just kind of went to the default, which is the fact that it's a podcast. And so I started from there and just went with sort of a traditional, kind of offset blocky letters, like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, that kind of thing, and just set the letters that way. And the icon, I guess, I don't know, at one point, when the earphones could make a sort of ear-like shape, that kind of sealed the deal there.
Yeah, that's clever.
I think we all really liked that because it was subtle, but you could definitely tell that that kind of like gave it a little bit Disney touch to it.
Risk of
Yeah,
litigation.
It passed the Cafe Press Police, so
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
That's a good sign. I didn't know if there was any. It looks an awful lot like an iPod, so I didn't know if that was an issue or not. But apparently not.
No, Apple doesn't sue enough. Disney likes to sue. So,
Well, yeah.
how many versions of the logo did you come up with before settling on this one?
Probably 5 or 6 different ones. I had a completely different type treatment for a while. The element of the headphones making ears was always in there though.
Okay.
Oh, good.
One of the interesting things that you did, Darren, you sent me the original logo, and then we were doing something we needed to get a logo version for iTunes, and iTunes requires a special dimensions of it, and Darren was like, why don't we, I think it looks better when you had a border originally to it, and we knocked out the border and put a different background color, and if you look at it on iTunes, you'll see what I'm talking about as opposed to the version that's on the website, but I thought that was really a very, very subtle change, but it really made the logo look a lot sharper in my mind.
Great.
Now, Darren, when we invited Darren onto this podcast to talk to us today, he was kind of reluctant because he's only been to Walt Disney World once before.
Really?
So clearly he's not a super Walt Disney World nerd like us, which leads me to this question, and I want to email you because I wanted to talk to you on the show about this. What attracted you to the podcast?
What the heck were you thinking?
You don't seem like the typical Disney nerd that listens to a couple different podcasts and posts on a few different message boards and has been to Disney World since 70.
It was the stimulating conversation. I mean, he just couldn't keep away.
He came here by mistake.
Exactly. He can't figure out how to get the bookmark off of his computer.
I don't know how to unsubscribe. That's right.
Stupid RSS feed. I can't get away from it.
Well, actually, a couple of years ago, we started going to Florida. I have a sister that lives down there, and then my in-laws have a timeshare in Cocoa Beach. So they've been gracious enough to give us a week down there for the last couple of years, and at their timeshare. And so we've been going to Florida a lot more than we ever had before. And I want to visit the parks soon, but we have our third child is 3, maybe 3.5. And I know a lot of people take them at 3.5, but
that's a little young.
I just don't, I don't think she can really go the distance. So I don't want to do that. Our other daughter went at 4.5, and that was a really good experience. So we're kind of planning for next summer to go for a couple of days.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I waited till my daughter was 4.5 too. Yeah.
We'll actually be going through Orlando this summer, so I am going to kind of do some peripheral things, maybe get a character breakfast or something like that as we pass through.
Okay. So again, why did you listen to our podcast?
Well, to be honest,
he's trying to graciously avoid the question.
I think I first got the link off of Mary Waring's site. She'd been a guest.
That's called spam, but okay.
Yeah.
And so I was, looking for new podcasts, and I think the fact that you're only 15 minutes, it was a pretty low commitment.
Sure.
Plus, there's so many tips on just, how things are, things peripheral to actually going to the parks, where to stay, deals on cars, all that stuff. So
Great.
I'm definitely taking advantage of that. We're flying into Orlando, and I'm booking car rentals based on advice that I got from the group, and looking based on advice and from your side and Mount Savers. So
Have you booked a car yet?
I have. I've been staking out Dollar for a while.
Yeah.
And I really needed a minivan, so I got a minivan for 10 days for like $294 or something like that.
That's really not bad. Yeah.
I was pretty happy. That's the lowest I've ever seen it.
Did you join the Dollar Fastlane Club or whatever they're calling it
I
these
did.
days? Yeah, make sure you do that. That's going to save you like half an hour standing in line.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In fact, I was waiting for my confirmation, but I went ahead and booked it because I didn't want the rate to change on me. So they said you can update it and all that. So.
Yeah, you can just call them and do it. They've got really good phone customer service actually for a company that's got great rates. You would think that they'd just be bottom of the barrel.
No.
In terms of, and it's not. I mean, I've called them up on the phone and they're very friendly and everything. So.
Darren mentioned to me also in the email before the show that he actually used the unofficial guide and the mini Mickey book For those who don't know what that is, the Mini Mickey book is a more compact version of the War and Peace length unofficial guide. Was the book, Darren? Was the book the first research that you did into Walt Disney World?
Yes, it was. My father-in-law had gone several years before, and he recommended the whole book. Reading the book, and first time you hear that as a civilian, I guess you could say, you sort of go, I have to read a book.
Exactly. Will there be an exam later?
You sort of roll your eyes, but my father-in-law is a pretty conservative guy, and he was a wholehearted believer. So
Yeah.
I bought a copy before that trip in 2002 that we took, and it really seemed to help. I kind of got I got a lot of ideas from it and had a plan all worked out, and then I left it at home.
Did you really?
So we went to there's a a bookstore somewhere on Cocoa Beach, Merritt Island, somewhere like that, and grabbed the only thing they didn't have the unofficial guide, but they had the Mini Mickey. I thought, well, I can carry this with me. Let's give it a try.
That's what it's
And
for.
it was absolutely great.
Yeah, cool.
See, I'm always paranoid about the Mini Mickey because I always like knowing that I have all the information from the unofficial guide, and so I lug it around, even though kind of will probably cause back problems in about 20 years, but that's okay.
It's not that it's a pound and a half. It's not that bad. But really, Matt, I mean, tell me though, you really carry the book around instead of like your cell phone to call me?
Absolutely.
I don't get it. Couldn't you just call me and I would answer the question? I mean, see, the benefits of being on the show is, if I have a question, I call in. There you go.
That's a service you can sell that service, I think.
Yeah, I'm getting like 200 emails a day already. The phone calls would be it.
So, Darren, I believe you have some questions for us. Is that right?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One is, do the ticket prices go up every year for the parks?
Yeah.
What is it, every January?
Well, actually, I think since the Eisner came in, I think before Eisner they did not, but yeah, I mean, practically speaking, for the last 20 years, they have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually in January, so if you're planning a trip after January and you're not going to be investing in an annual pass, it's probably best to buy your tickets ahead of time to save yourself whatever the price increase will be for the next year.
Do you have any statistics on how many people lose their, reusable, unexpiring tickets, or is there any? Have you ever done a study on that for the guide or anything?
Yeah, we did actually. We actually got this number directly from Disney because we were asking about the Magic Keyboard tickets with the no expiration option. And what they told us is for every 100 partially used passes that leave Orlando or that leave the park, fewer than 15 of them will ever be presented again in Walt Disney World. So 85% of them either get misplaced, thrown away, or the people, I guess, don't realize that they can bring them back. So, which is why we on the website we actually recommend not no expiration option unless you're absolutely certain you're going to come back and you've got a safe place to store the tickets. So if you've got like a safety deposit box, or if you've got a like a folder or something at home where you keep like your passports and whatnot, you can put it there. You'll be fine.
Excellent.
I'm surprised you have that information, Len. That's such an obscure thing.
Well, it was we were trying to figure out what the what Disney's purpose was for tying people back to the biometrics, and they had said, we thought for sure it was about the money, and they're like, no, it's a requirement that we have to tie people to it, and they gave us this statistic about it not being about the money. So
Interesting.
Okay, let's see. I have another question. Can you see the fireworks from the Contemporary, or where's a good place to view from the Contemporary? If we were say we were there for dinner at the Chef Mickey's, is there a spot there where you can view the fireworks?
I don't think you can see it from Chef Mickey's. It's
not from Chef Mickey's, but if you walk out on Chef Mickey's is on the 4th floor, right, of the Contemporary.
Yeah, and it's also on the wrong
other
side of the building.
Right.
Yeah, but if you walk out, there's a viewing area, and I don't know if you can still see it from the view. They used to have a viewing area. The viewing area is still there. I don't know if they let people out to see it. But here's a tip: if the viewing area isn't open on the 4th floor, my guess is it would be. But if for some reason it's not, take the elevator up to any of the floors below concierge level, and then walk straight out to the fire escape on the Magic Kingdom side, and you can view from there.
Did they used to have it at the? Can't you see from the California Grill?
I think.
That-
yeah.
but only patrons now, Matt. I mean,
Okay,
anybody
they-
could have gone up there and gone out to the observation deck, but I think you have to be escorted up to the California Grill now, and I think that only patrons are allowed up there. So
Yeah, when I was there in January 04 at California Grill, they were letting people who were eating at the California Grill there, but that was it.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Darren?
Yes, it does. Thank
Okay.
you. The other, I have one more question for Lynn. And
Uh-oh.
are you hiring researchers?
Hiring implies paying. That's the key.
Be careful.
Yes,
what
it
you ask.
does.
Here's the thing, and this is I joke with Bob about this all the time, is that the guide has been around for so long, and it's acquired a reputation. We get some of the most highly qualified people who volunteer to work for free. The people with PhDs and more than 10 years of actual work experience want to work for the guide for free. We're always interested in having researchers come on board. The way it works right now is, and I did this. So when I wrote to Bob to volunteer, I did 2 years unpaid work. That's sort of the minimum now to get in the book. Now, certainly, if you're going down, on a family trip and you've got a couple hours to spare and you want to help, by all means, we'll hook you up. We'll buy you lunch or something like that if you want to stand in line for us, if you want to write down some stuff. But if you actually want to work for the book, pretty much everyone has to go through some sort of unpaid internship, simply because of the number of people who want to do it. And for us, it weeds out the people who are really, truly serious from the people who just think it would be a cool job but then don't like it the first time.
Right.
Now, the people who actually get through it, the unpaid internship, I'm not saying their life is fabulous, but they do get, if not free, then heavily subsidized trips to Walt Disney World. We work them like dogs while they're there, but that's how it is. So that's how it works out. You interested?
Could be.
Well,
have to take-
anymore.
I mean,
take vacation. So
yeah,
like,
you'd have to
you're
take
talking
vacation.
like you got to pick up your own airfare and room and everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, generally speaking, unless you've got if you've got a master's degree in operations, we'd probably pick up your airfare, only because that
Let me
fits into
check.
it. Let me check.
No.
No. Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you've got a specific skill that we're interested in, like if you know some obscure programming language, or you've got like a master's degree in statistics or something, and we need you, we'll work something out. But I mean, generally speaking, I worked unpaid for 2 years. Now that's kind of what we're looking for. I mean, we're not. We'll buy you dinner. We might even pay for your park pass. You got to get there. We'll actually find you a place to stay. I mean, I think this year we actually housed 2 people in Bob's villa. We might be able to help with that, but for the most part, you're on your own. And again, it just helps weed out all the people who think they want to do it for the free trip.
It might be
Right.
easier to
Yeah.
become one of Scopa's.
Yeah, I think
cronies.
Team Scopa is actually hiring.
we're going,
No, I
we're
mean-
going
I mean-
through a reorg right now. So.
You're going through.
Oh, downsizing.
Changing personnel.
I mean, that's the thing. The thing there is, and again, for our listeners who've got like an extra hour or two to spare, or if they've got a day or something, that's different than if you want to actually work for the guide. If you actually want to work for the guide, there's, there's got to be an internship period. Because again, everyone thinks they want to do it, and I don't think it ends up being what most people think it really is.
I think you're right, Lynn. I remember we had dinner, was it about a year and a half ago, at that Thai restaurant, and I remember Bob saying, everybody thinks it's a real glamour job, but if they had to walk in my shoes, and he was telling us what he was going to do the next day, walk around some hotel and do all kinds of measurements. He said if people knew exactly what
No one would
kind
do
of
it.
work gets into it, no one volunteer. Even Christina wouldn't volunteer.
Christina does. She's done a lot of work. Christina gets the free trips. Let's put it this way, Darren. After a while, if you can get through the internship period, and we like you and you like us, from then on your life is a lot easier. But it's everyone thinks. I tell Matt this all the time. Everyone thinks the job is writing the review for Splash Mountain, and that review's already been written. And if anyone's going to rewrite it, it's going to be me. But it's. We had somebody last year who rode 1,700 miles of bus routes in Walt Disney World, and that was their job. We had another person who did nothing but ride the monorail over and over again to get consistent timings. We had somebody who did nothing but walk through every single resort and write down room numbers. So it's not nearly as glamorous as what you would think.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah. If you're interested, though, and you're going to be in the Orlando area, give me a call. We'll see what we can do.
All right, Darren. Well, thanks for coming on the show again.
You're welcome.
We're immensely in debt to you for the great logo that you came up with.
Thank you.
And that's it for us today. This has been episode number 93 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, and Darren Neely, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the live show on Sunday.